Hello, welcome to the Word Cafe podcast. This podcast has been designed with curated content that centers on the power of words. Can we really do anything without speaking? Can we really do anything without the agency of words? Yes, that is what this podcast is all about. And I am your host, Eriye Onagoruwwa, your neighborhood word trader. I believe in the power of words, for it is the unit of creation. I trade in words to profit my world. Oh yeah, wonderful. We're still continuing this wonderful discussion on, you understand what I mean, celebrating our women folks, and what they mean to us. We're still in March, mind you, we're still in March. So we're still talking about the women, our wives, our mothers, our sisters, all of that. Today I have a wonderful person to do this with today. She's just phenomenal. The best way I can describe her is a quintessential individual. Her name is Eriye Onagoruwwa. There's so much about her, but yes, you're wondering where is she? She's somewhere around the building, and I'm going to bring her in just about now. Hello.
Hi,
the quintessential Eriye. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm Afri. Good evening. I'm good. How are you?
Looking ever beautiful, like ever. I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine. What's up? How's everybody out there? Husband, children,
everybody's well. Everybody's well.
Well, you know what we're doing here already. Welcome. This is the live show, the Word Cafe live show. And this season, we're celebrating the women in our lives. March is known for celebrating women globally, and at the Word Cafe, we've decided to do this. We started it on Sunday. We've had phenomenal women coming on and all that. And Eriye is one of them. We just had to get hold of you and bring you here. It's an honor having you here. And what we want to do here today is just discourse. We want to hear Eriye tell us her story, her challenges, what she's gone through, what she's been through, and what true success means to her. But before we do that, this is what we always do at the Word Cafe. People will always say, let's introduce this person and all that. I like the people to tell us by themselves who they are. So Eriye, who is Eriye? Let's meet Eriye.
Thank you, Amakri. One of the first things I thought of when I heard that question, who is Eriye? I was like, can he skip who is Eriye? Sometimes it feels difficult introducing yourself. Who is Eriye? Eriye is a work in progress. Eriye is a mother and a wife, and I think the best title I could ever dream of having is being called a mom. The responsibility of raising children and making sure they are assets to the society and not liabilities is one that I take with an utmost sense of dedication and commitment. I'm an author. I've worked for about 15 years plus and still working. In the middle of a career transition, which I did in 2019. I'm an author of the best-selling book, Dear Alare. My definition of success is a life that is lived with impact, a life lived in service to others. So in a nutshell, again, like I said, I'm a work in progress. I'm somebody who life has thrown a lot of curveballs, a lot of challenges. But when I look back at all of them, I say to myself, they've made who I know and who others know as Eriye today. All of the challenges, I've seen a purpose in the pain. Every challenge I've gone through, I've seen a purpose in it, and I'm entirely grateful to God for everything.
Wow, that is a basket full of so many things, good things, I must say. And I know you're a trained lawyer. Before I brought you on set, I was telling them that the best word to describe for me, Eriye, is a quintessential personality. The first time I got to meet Eriye, you'll be surprised. I got to meet Eriye, I think that was in secondary school. I kept, once or twice I've told you about that. I think that was you were Federal Government College Abloma. You went for a speaking event. Then we used to call it debate. Exactly. And Eriye came on, and I will never forget the way one word she kept using in that debate, a banana republic. And it stuck with me. I was like, who is this lady?
Oh my God.
Somewhere along the line we got to, banana republic. And I had to go for that word, banana republic. So tell me, how have you grown that because from what you just said, one of the things you mentioned, you are an author. How did you get to find that thing about writing?
So I've always been fascinated with the arts. Growing up, I worked with, we used to call him Christopher Columbus then. I worked with, so he was doing stuff with Olaro Timi's theater group. So
those are the great names.
Yeah, then in Uniport, I was part of the group. In secondary school, like you said, I was in debating. I was the best student in literature, best actress of the year, representative of the school. So yes, I've always been drawn. And then when I was 8, I think 8 years, I wrote my first book. It was like a manuscript, and my parents graciously.
Sorry. Hold on. Did you say 8?
Yes. When I was 8. When I was 8, yeah. So I had my first book. In fact, I used to write comics, and then my neighbor was the illustrator, so he will do the drawing and I'll do the writing. So I've always been drawn to writing. So having to write a book that came out of, it's interesting, it came out of pain, it came out of frustration. I wrote Dear Alarie at a point in time where I was feeling very stuck in a rut in my career, feeling like, undervalued, feeling like I should be better than, what I was then. And so I turned inwards. And I said to myself, Eriye, rather than complaining, do what you've always loved to do, because I write for The Guardian as well. And that's how Dear Alarie was born, and the rest, they say, is history.
I wanted us to talk about this sometime, down the line on the show, but since the word is out there, that's the book. I read this book. I felt like I was in the movies. Tell me more about this book. I want the listeners to, have a feel of Dear Alarie. Tell me.
Dear Alarie. First of all, let me start with the title. That was not the original title, but when my publisher saw it, she said, no, I don't like the title you've chosen. Let's choose something else. And I was very particular about using Alarie because I'm from Bayelsa, I'm Ijaw. I wanted to write a book that mirrored the Ijaw, Ijaw heritage, which I hardly saw in books. So that was what Dear Alarie meant for me. And I chose Alarie also purposely because Alarie in Ijaw means a woman of dignity, a woman of strength and character. Some people say a queen. So I also wanted to show somebody who was strong and yet not afraid to be vulnerable. When I started Dear Alarie, I didn't have, a ready-made plot. I didn't sit down and know how Dear Alarie will start from beginning to the end. Most of the stories there were actually told to me by my friends as I kept on writing. Some of them I would say was inspiration from the Holy Spirit. So I also found out when I was writing, I found out that there were really no books, at least that I had read, that spoke to work, office politics, spoke to office life. And yet, we spend most of our adult lives, for those of us who work 9 to 5, we spend most of it in the office. And I couldn't really see anything that spoke to the office nuances. At the same time, I wanted to use Dear Alarie as a microcosm, call it a mosaic of Nigerian society. I wanted to mirror Nigerian society in Dear Alarie, using Lagos as my principal muse, and most of the characters as people, relatable characters that you will see in everyday life. So that's pretty much how Dear Alarie came about.
Guys, I told you, I wasn't wrong after all. She has this quintessential, persona. You can see the way she's throwing the words, Miro, Akokoyo. Oh my, I need a dictionary somewhere. Honestly, I went through that book. I repeat it again. I felt like I was watching a movie. I called my wife and I told her, this book, when you open the book from the very first page, you're just drawn to it. You don't want to stop. I've not lived in Lagos per se, but from your perspective, one could tell, this is what Lagos is like. The roughness, the rough and tumble nature of Lagos, the hardcore, streets of Lagos and all that. It's a masterpiece, I must say. It's a masterpiece. Thank you for that. Now, you did mention a mother, that you're so happy being a mother, bringing up children not to be liabilities, but assets. What do you mean by that?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history, we also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
So most of the time when a lot of us complain and, Nigeria is not what it should be. It's not where it should be. A lot of leaders don't have any business leading us. But I seem to think that the failure which we're experiencing starts from the home. Because you cannot just grow into being a failed leader. You cannot just grow into being a mediocre sort of person. It starts from the values that you learn from the house. It starts from your parents who mold you, your friends who influence you, people who impact on you. And those people, whether or not you like it, the first people you actually come in contact with are your parents, your friends, your teachers. So for me, when I say to be an asset, you have to live by example. You have to show that as a parent, a lot is expected of you. I say to a lot of people that a lot of parents don't have any business being parents anymore because they themselves need parenting. So when I talk of children being assets, it's very important from the home front, from the word go. that we instill values. I'm not talking about trends now. I'm not talking about things that, people decide, oh, is this right? Is this wrong? I'm saying, core values, integrity, honesty, contentment, and live by them and show your children, that there's nothing wrong with these values. And I think that that's one of the best ways you can raise children to be assets rather than liabilities. They have to have a value for money. They have to have a value for hard work. They have to understand that there's no free lunch anywhere. You work hard and hard work doesn't kill. Those kind of values are the sort of values that my parents raised me up with. And I think that if we had more of such parents instilling such values, step by step, we'll get to where we should be as a nation and as a people.
Now, that word value has been, what I say, thrown away, because growing up even back then, just like you rightly put, our parents instilled in us value, our values. You understand me? Content being what you have, fine. You may not have so much, but hello, you have something. Be grateful for. To God for. And it's really, really lacking in our society. And you, as a mother, raising it up again on this platform, that's to say we really need to pay attention as parents, would-be parents, aspiring parents, or parents who are there already but struggling with it. But you need to know that you need to instill in your children values. Tell me, 8:30 to 5 o'clock, I know you've been doing that for a while now. What's it like? For a mother and a wife, what's it like?
Let me answer that using my previous company as an example. Where I worked before, we had to be moved to Abuja, and then I had my daughter was 2. And, we all moved to Abuja. And for 10 years, Amakri, I shuttled back and forth. Friday and Monday, I had the second in between shuttling. So I shuttled back and forth every Friday, every Monday, sometimes in between when I had meetings, to play the role of a worker, a mother, and a wife. What was it like? For me, you take every day as it comes. You need a strong support system, and I'm very grateful to God. My husband, my nanny, who's been with me for, I think, well over 20 years.
That's not a nanny anymore. That's a family member.
That's a family member, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So there's a lot of planning, but more importantly, purpose. I had to go to work. I had to raise children. I had a husband to look after. And for me, everything, I had to compartmentalize them accordingly. Weekends for me meant that I couldn't go anywhere, and I really wasn't interested in going anywhere. I needed to spend time with family. I didn't miss any outings. I didn't think it was important. I had to prioritize. When it was time for work, I could trust my husband, my nanny, my mom to help me out. And when it was time for family, I was there as well. So I did that shuttling for 10 years, Amakri. Even when Abuja airport was closed for repairs for 6 weeks, I would travel to Kaduna by road and then take the flight to Lagos and then come back again on Monday. So I will say pretty much 9 to 5. You take every day as it comes, but there has to be a purpose. There has to be a lot of planning. There has to be an adequate support system. And you have to have the willingness to succeed in all of these things.
You have mentioned 3 things: purpose, adequate support system, and planning. And the truth be told, when you look at any society, any organization, any group that will make lasting and significant impact, these three things come into play: purpose, planning, and support system. Because when you were talking, I was just like, so 2020, all the challenges we faced, to you it was nothing, because you had lived it. You had lived it. I can imagine for 10 good years, you were virtually virtual.
Yes.
Which is that word. you were yes. Operating in that virtual space.
In fact, I'm actually, it's funny. The air hostess, they knew me. Even the trolley guys knew the color of my suitcase.
And then you don't know.
Yes.
That kind of a thing, Fine. Amazing. And now we see, what we see now is the beauty, not just the pain. Is the beauty, not just the pain. All right. You told me something before we came on set about financial literacy, because I see in some of your write-ups, you've been like focusing and mirroring, on that. Can you tell us something about that, as in financial literacy? Why financial literacy?
So let me take our sector, the energy sector. I find that a lot of people, because of how much we earn vis-a-vis other sectors, tend not to know how to be literate about money. The money comes pretty much scheduled, on time, bonuses, and you're sure it's going to keep coming at least, until you say you're retiring or you want to move. So there's no planning. There's no, let me sit down and have a budget. Yeah. There's no need to be prudent. I see that a lot. A lot of people don't know what it means to budget. A lot of people don't know what it means to plan. A lot of people spend as it comes. Before it comes, sometimes it's even spent, because you tend to, do projects pending when your salary comes, and so when the salary comes, you just pay for all the projects that you've done prior to when your salary came. So I find that particularly in our sector, and that's not to say it doesn't occur in other sectors, but I find that women, men, most are very careless about money. It's like easy money comes, goes. And what I find is most times when people retire, particularly in the energy sector, and they're given bulk money, sometimes between 12 and 18 months, the money just goes. They're broke. There's nothing to fall back on. So for me, it's a passion to actually teach. Not a lot of people know how to make money. What typically happens in our sector and other sectors is you earn money, but not a lot of people know what it means to make it, to manage it, and to multiply it. For me, that's the trust of financial literacy.
Good. It's not about earning, it's about making. And when you have that ability to make, it's like you have that God-like power, so to say, because you can create something out of nothing. So how have you been going about it? Do you have a platform where you get to talk to people, or you just do write-ups and all that? What have you been doing about that?
So I have a platform. So I have a lot of people who invite me to speak to groups. I also have friends that I speak with, and then like you rightly mentioned, writings. And my plan is to keep upscaling this and make it as broad as possible to all sectors and to all people who are genuinely interested. Another thing I find about financial literacy, a lot of people, two things. A lot of people don't want to really they don't want to hear too much about textbook knowledge. They want to understand what happens.
Real stuff.
Yes. When I get my money, what happens? How do I budget? How can I plan? My daughter is going to school in 10 years' time, in 5 years' time. what will happen? So those are the kind of things that people want to know. While some others, yes, they want to know, what's mutual funds? What do you understand by T-bills? But a lot of people just want to really understand, be practical, be authentic. What happens when I get my money? How can I make more money? How can I multiply my money?
Wonderful. The how, that is what we're all desirous of. How do I make this thing work? And coming in contact with somebody that will just tell me, point me, as in, that's how to do it. This is how to do it. It solves that problem.
Yeah, and that's the number one thing that people need to understand about money. It's an exchange for value. You must be able to attract value. Money attracts value. Once you have that mindset, with the kind of problems we have in Nigeria, you can position yourself to be a solution provider, and people will always be attracted to people who can solve problems, who can add value to their already busy lives.
Wow. Money attracts value. I like that. Now, I know you took a very drastic decision recently, for a career woman, as you just took that awesome leap, leaving one for the other. How did you come to that decision, leaving one for the other? What I mean by that, maybe our listeners will be wondering, what do I mean by that? She actually left a well-paying job for another well-paying job. So how did you come to that?
Michael, can I be honest with you there?
Please go ahead.
I always want to be where I am celebrated and not tolerated. And I understand my value, and I say to people with a sense of what's the word now? With a sense of responsibility, that I know my value and I add tax on top of my value. So I want to be somewhere where I'm seen to be adding value, making impact, being part of a team that is different, that is adding value. So you get to a point in your career, you have to sort of close the door, do a self-analysis and think, am I growing? The knowledge I had last year about myself, about my role in this company, my job description, has it gotten any better, or I'm still the same? Am I stagnant? Have I learned anything? Have I developed myself? And I'm saying without the company, have I done any development, course-wise, training? You need to ask yourself hard questions. Can I test my marketability in the market? Can I test my CV? If I go to company B, would I really be able to add value? So when you ask yourself these questions, trust me, Amakri, you can actually answer truthfully and say to yourself, look, I need to either upgrade, I need to leave, I need to be a better person. But the answers are there. You just need to ask yourself those hard questions.
Those hard questions. Now, you mentioned development, training, building your capacity. From the way you present yourself and the things you've been saying, clearly you've been on a journey. You've been developing yourself. Can you just, give us a tip of the iceberg? What the practical things you did to add or imbibe or build that something within you?
For the better part of my career, I looked at my bosses, and I'm thankful that a lot of them had so much to offer, and a lot of them were willing to help me, were willing to take me along their own journey. It was easy for me to learn. It was easy for me to grow with that sort of, with those sort of people around you. In terms of so that also helped developing myself. practically, I also took steps. Every year I would ask myself, what course or what training did I need to do to be a better person? So I sponsored myself a lot of times. Every year I sponsored myself for courses without the company, because I believe that personally you are responsible for your career pretty much the way you're responsible for your life. Yes, the company should train you, but if the company doesn't train you and you train yourself, the knowledge stays with you. So for me, that was a guiding principle. I had to make sure that every year I was putting an added layer of knowledge on top of what I had. And then mixing with the right people. And when I mean the right people who had extensive experience in the industry, were willing to share their knowledge. So that helped me a lot. Reading books, that helped me a lot as well.
So you were more or less self-motivated.
Yes.
I see the future. This is where I desire to be, or I'm desirous. I see somebody, or this is what I want to look like in the next 4, 5, 6 years. So you were more or less self-motivated. Awesome. So what is it like now where you are? Tell us. What is it?
I'm still on a journey. I've done a career, so I'll say a career transition. So in my former place of work, I was doing a lot of commercial negotiations. Now I'm in external affairs. I'm protecting and managing company reputation, which ultimately drives the bottom line profit structure of the company. Sustainability is also at the heart of what I do. So it's also been a learning curve, but a very good one, because there's nothing as being versatile in whatever sector you find yourself. You should not be pigeonholed into only one subset skill, or you should try as much as possible to know everything you can about the company. So for me, I always say it's a journey, it's an interesting one, and I'm happy to be learning as I go on this journey.
Versatility. You're not stuck in a particular mode, but you are versatile. You can just fit into that thing, that role. Amazing. 2021 brought in a lot about glass ceiling being broken, within the female universe. For the lack of words, we saw Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala for the first time, a black woman, come up to that stage. What was it like for you when you saw that?
Oh wow! I feel like clapping,
I can imagine.
It's an indescribable feeling. But I like the fact that it sent a message to a lot of women folk that hard work pays. It sends the right message, that at the end of the day, things we squabble over and make it look like it's important, ethnicity, nationality, all of that really means nothing. It's your competence. It's not even your gender, it's your competence. Your competence speaks for you. And for me, that is a very strong signal. I saw a lady who was, very determined, very sure, very confident of herself. And again, like I said, it sends a strong message to us, that we can really aspire to be what we want to be in life.
Good. That statement takes me back to something years ago I experienced with Coca-Cola. When you pick up a bottle of Coca-Cola, they tell you liquid content only. When you take the content out, the bottle becomes undesirable. So it's not a question of gender, rather the content, just like what you just rightly submitted. What do you have to offer? What are you bringing to the table? What do you have to say to those young women out there who are desirous of the better life. They want to do good stuff with themselves. And it's like they don't have that support system, so to say. What do you have to say to them?
I would like to say firstly that challenges, they help us grow, Amakri. There's always a purpose in our pain. Pain is never wasted. At least it shouldn't be wasted. Hard work pays. For women, younger women, even women like me who are aspiring to be better in life, it's important to say that it's not a destination, it's a journey, but at every point in time, you should make sure you're adding value. You should read. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who see your worth, who want to push you to be better than yourself. And like I said again, like I said earlier, challenges only bring out, they bring out a better version of ourselves. There's really nothing that can stop us. You may have trajectories, you may have interruptions, but if you have that growth mindset, you'd actually get to where you're supposed to be.
The growth mindset. So for Eriye, what is her projection for the next 5 years? What do you hope to see yourself the next 5 years?
Oh my goodness. There's a lot, Amakri, but I just like to say this. I've always imagined and seen myself giving a TED talk. I've always seen myself in a space where I can impact for good. I'm not sure in 5 years where all of this will translate to, but I'm looking forward to this journey, to be honest. I'm not sure. I think that some events have happened in my life. I kind of find it difficult sometimes to actually project so far. But what I can say is there's greatness ascribed to my name.
I like that. She just took it. There's greatness ascribed to my name. So I need to describe that greatness. Eriye, we can go on and on, but honestly, we are so glad having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
We share in your aspiration and vision. And honestly, that stage, the TED Talk, it will come. I know that it's all about time. It will come. And we'll be there, yeah, that's how it is. Good girl. All right. Good. Thank you for this moment. Guys, you are with us on the Word Cafe Live Show. I'm your host, Amakri Isoboye. I believe in the power of words. Amax, thank you. For it is the unit of creation. Thank you, Eriye. One last word before we draw the curtain for this episode. One last word from you.
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. There are going to be a lot of times nobody even sees your vision. Nobody shares your aspirations. Believe in yourself and keep going. Keep going. Don't stop.
A rolling stone gathers no moss. Just keep going. Thank you, guys. We have to run now. I know you're wondering what's coming up next. Just hang in there. Tomorrow, next week, in the future, we're going to have fruitful discussion. Once again, I'm your host, Amakri Isoboye. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome time it has been with you on the Word Cafe podcast today. Thank you for being there. You can catch me up on my social media handles, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all at Amakri Isoboye. Also, you can get copies of my books, A Cocktail of Words, The Color of Words, and my HRO notebook on Amazon and on Roving Heights online bookstores. You can also subscribe to my YouTube page at the same address. Yes, till we see you again. Bye for now.